speech about himself. Or whatever he chooses to do. Honestly, I've done many different things. But his speech titled, "I'm Addicted," will be from 4 to 6 minutes long. Please welcome Dennis to the stage.
So, hello guys. I have to confess something to you today. I'm addicted. And what my addiction is, I want to explain to you today. So, I'm an exchange student from Germany, and currently I take 5 classes towards my major in industrial engineering. I signed up for 2 classes in PE, so I play soccer 3 times a week, I play golf 3 times a week, and I'm a member of the swim club, so I go swimming 4 times a week. And as you might notice, I also joined Toastmasters now, so I try to show up here every Monday. And I also have a girlfriend, so occasionally she wants to hang out too. And so now you're asking yourself, why is he doing that? Is he crazy? Maybe, I don't know. And it's because of my addiction to self-improvement. I constantly want to improve myself every day, and I want to become a better person every day. And I basically figured out 4 ways how I try to improve myself. The first way is that I try to use my time as efficiently as possible. That means, before I go to bed every evening, I take 5 minutes and try to think about my next day in order to be able to focus on the tasks on the next day. I also put every little appointment in my calendar, even if it's just 5 minutes. It just helps me to get that out of my brain and only in my calendar. And another thing, did you know, for example, you can integrate your ELC calendar to your normal calendar, so you never have to worry about updating or adding your deadlines. You always have it updated in your own calendar. And the last thing is a little uncommon. I use pocket points to save time. I don't know if you know the app. It's an app which rewards you if you keep your phone locked in class. And I got some promotions there on Lyft, so I accumulated so many points now that I have over 100 free Lyft rides. And last week alone I took 20 Lyft rides. Sounds crazy, probably because it is, but it's pretty nice if you get picked up by your own driver after class and you're home in 5 minutes, it saves time and you have a nice conversation with the driver. The second way how I try to improve myself is that I try to constantly invest in myself. That means I try to take off at least 30 minutes a day to read a book or the news. I try to watch as many TED Talks as possible. It's just, I feel like there's so much knowledge out there and we just have to grab it, and just those 30 minutes a day help me to improve myself. Another thing is how I try to invest in myself is by eating very healthy. So today there's basically no excuse to not eat healthy. I go to Chipotle once a week. It's very cheap, it's a cheap fast food, very healthy, and I just love Chipotle. And I'm not getting paid to say it. And yeah, basically I don't spend any time, not much time on social media. When I came here, I didn't understand that like people are standing at the bus stop, snapping her face and like trying to keep up a pointless streak. I think there are much better ways to spend your time. Just either talk to the people in the bus or actually do something. So the third way to improve myself is that I try to constantly get out of my comfort zone. Just last week, I went ice skating for the first time with swim club. I've never ice skated before, so when I stepped on that ice rink, I basically looked like a newly born penguin trying to walk. It looked pretty stupid, but by the end of 1.5 hours, I could kind of skate, and I was pretty happy that I did it. And the fourth thing, how I try to improve myself, is that I try to surround myself with people that I want to become. So at the moment, I'm really into entrepreneurship. So I try to talk as much as possible to entrepreneurs even though I don't have a current idea to start a business, but just surrounding yourself with people who are creative and have good ideas helps you to improve yourself. There's a famous quote, you're basically the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I try to live that principle, and that's also the reason why I came here, because here are many great public speakers, and I want to improve myself every week by coming here, and I hope eventually I'll be a good public speaker too. Thank you.
Great speech. You notice on in front of you there is a slip of paper that says first speaker, second speaker, third speaker. Please fill out the first speaker slot and just tell Dennis what he did great, what he did, what he can improve on, and different things so that he can be a better speaker. And while you're doing that, after you're done with that, pass it to the center. I really liked how you incorporated humor into almost every single point that you had, and also you had very structured points. You said first, here, or this is how I want to improve myself. Second, and then third. Very laid out speech. While everyone is finishing up their evaluations on Dennis, I'd like to introduce our second speaker, speaking from his second project, which is organizer speech, right? Right, all right. His second speech, welcome to the stage, Onur.
February 6th, 2018. Mark this day in your calendars. This is a day that will go down in history. Just last Tuesday, SpaceX successfully launched the Falcon Heavy rocket with a very special payload that is still in space. I'm sure most of you have heard bits and pieces about this, so I'll give you the quick rundown. Elon Musk is the owner of SpaceX and founder, and they successfully launched their Falcon Heavy rocket, which is called the most powerful rocket in the world today. And the payload was actually a dummy by the name of Starman. That's the name given to him, and he is in a Tesla Roadster. And to this day, he's still orbiting, and the trajectory is between the sun, the Earth, and the moon, and Mars, I'm sorry. And so today, I'm going to share with you some information about why SpaceX was founded, and why this event is such a key milestone to the future. So back in 2002, Elon Musk founded SpaceX, the company, with 2 goals in mind. The first being to make space travel commercially available to just about everyone, making it affordable. And the second being to get the human race to be a multi-planetary species, essentially to colonize other planets. How he went about the first goal is a pretty simple and practical approach. He used a process called vertical integration. Now, vertical integration is where you basically control all aspects of the supply chain. So in their example, they would deal with raw material collection, then they would build the parts they need themselves, they would manufacture it, and they would assemble the rocket themselves. This is really efficient because it cuts out all the transportation costs, moving them from one facility to the other. And it also cuts down costs because you take out all the middlemen. And today, if you go to the biggest government agency that comes to mind for space travel, it's probably NASA for most of you. If you go there today and say, I want to send something up into space, they'll quote you about $10,000 for every pound of cargo to go there. Whereas, if you look at SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, right now, it only costs 1/4 of the price, $2,500 per pound of cargo. So you can already see how this is already a big step towards their goal of making space travel affordable. But they're not done yet. His goal is to reduce it down to 1/10 of NASA's price. So $1,000 per pound of carbon. And now, the reason why this event was so impactful and so huge and a key step towards these goals is for two reasons. For the first reason, it brought awareness to the company, and the second reason, it showed that everything they've been working for the past decade or so is working successfully, and they're making steps towards the future. Now, I don't know how familiar you guys are with rockets, so I'll give you a really quick overview. How it works is there's a payload, which is what you want to send up there, and it's attached to the center rocket, and there's a few rockets with fuel and propellant. And what happens is the fuel is used up to exit the atmosphere, the rockets fall off and they're discarded, and then the payload is detached once it's in space so it can go to its set location. Now, Elon Musk had this innovative idea where instead of the rockets just falling apart, being discarded and wasted, why don't we reuse them? And so one of the key factors in this launch was once the rockets were out of propellant, or used most of their propellant in this case actually, they would fall down and land at set landing points on Earth. And they would be reusable essentially. It's like a battery pack. You use it, it's done, and then you can reuse it again once you charge it, so fill it back up. And this was successful. The landing sites, the rockets came down, and they were successfully intact and landed. And this shows that this cuts down on a major cost, which is rebuilding the rockets again. So once again, he's taking steps towards his goal of making space travel affordable and commercially available. Now, the second reason why this is a key milestone is Elon Musk is a very goofy character. He's very smart, a very smart person, innovator, intellectual, but he also has this little child side to him. He sent, when he first asked the dev team for payload ideas, the dev team actually came up with a list of ideas and a secondary list of goofy ideas. You know, when you're brainstorming, you say something funny and they're like, okay, this can't be a serious idea because it's a company presentation. He sent them back with the first list that, no, I want something more funny. So they showed him the goofy list. And one of the items on the goofy list was sending a car to space. He thought, that's great, I'll send my own personal Tesla Roadster. And sure enough, that's how the idea of the payload came to be and how he sent it up there. And in addition, he also made some really funny space references there. Now, on the dashboard, it says, don't panic. And if you actually open it, you'll see that there's a toothbrush and a towel there. And this is a reference to a book called A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is, it's about space and it's a very funny book. And also there's Space Oddity Plane by David Bowie. And it's also a great song about space, and so it really matches the theme. And in addition, if you look inside the Tesla Roadster, on one of the circuit boards, it says, made by humans of Earth. So this goofy aspect shows, it makes people see the company in a practice sense, that everything is working well, they're actually taking giant strides in space travel, but also that it's a very relatable, it's not a serious company like NASA, which is a serious government agency. This company is, it's appealing to people. People tend to like it, favor it more. And this increase in support for the company is a big step in the future. And so in conclusion, SpaceX has made rapid advances, and it is a leader in the space travel industry and a key innovator. And I believe if they continue down this path, one day in the future, Starman and the Tesla Roadster will be sitting in a museum in Mars. And this will be the first stages of colonization of Mars. Thank you.
Great speech, Norm. Alright, so under second speech, you give an evaluation of Onor's speech. Remember, the theme was organizing your speech, so you can give different points, but make sure you really critique how he organized it. And I really like that you took that huge concept of SpaceX and really divided it into concrete points and delivered it. So congratulations, Onur, on that. And I'll give you a little bit more time to fill that out. Alright, for our last speech, speech number 3. Actually, his speech is number 9 in the manual, titled Passionfruit. I remember when he gave his first speech, and he's come a long way. So, I expect the best speech from him. Just do whatever you want with that. Welcome Josh to the stage.
Every week, the reviews. You need more vocal variety. Great speech, but you need more vocal variety. Good job, but I'd really like to see you use more vocal variety. Josh, you need more vocal variety. Okay, I get it, guys. Some would say I need more fire. Some would say I need to express myself. Some would say I need more passion. So I'm here today to tell you about a few things that I am passionate about. Number 1, we need to make more eye contact. I had a girlfriend freshman year, and her family came in town one weekend. We hung out all weekend. Sunday afternoon after they'd left, she and I were hanging out. And I asked her, what they thought, so she kind of gave me the report. The report was, they thought I was a nice boy, good head on my shoulders, good future, but I had very poor eye contact. And that was freshman year, so I don't know if I was just in a slump, because that's not the way I was raised. So we'll just say I was in a slump. I was an immature sort of freshman. I'd like to think that I've come a long way since then, and as I've matured, my eye contact has naturally improved. But it's taken me, it was really junior year, about a year and a half ago, when I realized truly that if we do not pick our heads up and look people in the eyes, we are missing out on so much in life. I mean, you can tell so much about a person from their eyes. You can tell what kind of day they're having, what kind of mood they're in. It's especially important if you see them every day, but even if it's someone you see infrequently or a total stranger, I think that's when eye contact is the most powerful and the most interesting. If you pick your head up, as you walk around, you'll notice some folks just have their eyes glued to the pavement as you pass them on the street, always. Some folks will, be walking with their heads up, but they will strictly not look you in the eye. Sometimes you'll lock eyes with a stranger and it'll be terribly awkward. Sometimes it'll be pleasant. Sometimes I'll see a cute girl and we'll lock eyes and she'll look away and I'll look away and I'll look back and she'll look back. Sometimes the same thing happens with a random dude walking out. But yeah, we're missing out on so much if we don't look people in the eyes, and it's so important. And as I've concluded, now that I'm a senior at UGA, we're bad at this. I don't know if it's because we're a Southern school and Southern people are just kind of shy. I don't know if this is just the way society is going towards, or this is just our generation. But I think a lot of it has to do with these things. Like Dennis was saying, these things are not a good way to spend your time. And physically, people will be walking and they'll be looking down at them. But also, we've become so obsessed, so attached to these things that, I'm sure y'all seen kids at UGA, I'm sure some of y'all have experienced it. If they don't have their phone or if they don't have a message to check, they wig out because they don't know what to do. It's like they need to be looking down at their phone. Put the dang thing down. Go to class without it. I pretty much treat school like work, like an 8 to 5, like our mentors and our parents and our high school teachers told us to do. I have class on and off from 8 to 5, and when I'm not in class, I'm studying, and I generally get to enjoy my weekends. A lot of times, starting junior year last year, I don't take my cell phone to school these days, and I may be the only kid at UGA who does that. I don't need it. If I have a group project, it's all on GroupMe. I have that on my computer. I have email. I can talk to all my professors. I have news. I have everything I need on my computer. The phone is really for entertainment. At this point in my life, I'm not making business calls every day, so I don't need it. And if there's one thing you guys take away, it's that I urge you so strongly to try it one day. Just don't take your phone. It feels kind of weird the first time because we've taken our phone everywhere since we were in 7th grade on average. But I urge you guys to try it. Do it once. Some of my best days have been when I just didn't take my cell phone for a whole day. Maybe try it once a month. Maybe try it once a week. It's fun. It's interesting. Very interesting. There's a rope about 100 yards this way, in the dead middle of campus. Has anyone seen this rope? Okay. It's right behind the ROTC building, and right here on Baldwin Street, between the ROTC building and the MLC, it's about 40 feet high. I even had a building in the ROTC in that one freshman year, and I never noticed the rope. My roommate did the other day. And we grew up in elementary school on the playground. We had a rope and a pole that we would climb. So we grew up doing that. And he said, yeah, there's this rope right there by the MLC. I went and I climbed it. Some lady came out and saw me, and she didn't fuss at me, so I did it. And he told me about it. Sure enough, there's a rope. And if you walk up towards the staircase up there, you'll see the rope. And it's just crazy how we're so... Whether it's because we're attached to the cell phones or we just have poor eye contact, it's insane that so many people would never, including myself, never noticed that 40-foot rope in the middle of campus. So, y'all know me. I look around the room, and a lot of y'all have gotten to know me over the past 2 years. You don't know a fraction of the horrible things I've done to myself and to others. You also don't know 1% of the good things I've done for this world, how I love helping other people out, and how I'd give the shirt off my back to anyone in need. But I look around, I see new faces, but for the most part, a lot of y'all do know me well. And if I haven't told you, you can probably guess I love rock music. I grew up on country music, and on a sunny day with the windows down, blasting it, there's nothing better in the world. But for some reason, I love Drake's music, and I listen to him more than any other artist in the world. A whole lot more vocal variety, a lot more eye contact, less cell phone, and a whole lot more Passionfruit. I'm out. Thanks, y'all.
I tell you, I think that's the first time I've heard a speech ending with "I'm out." But and I'll wait till you're done. I honestly think you didn't need more vocal variety in that speech. But maybe you guys did. Please write it in your evaluations of Josh. And yeah. So timer, was all the speakers in time?
A nerd, right?
Yeah.
A nerd. Okay, it was 6 seconds over, and Josh was 34 seconds over.
34?
Yeah, Dennis was like 5 seconds, or 5 minutes for the, was perfectly on time.
Alright, so since Josh did go over even the grace period. Once you're done evaluating Josh, please vote for the best speaker between Onur and Dennis. Yeah, was like that? Yeah, Dennis. And once you do that, please pass it to the middle as well. Alright, while you guys are wrapping it up, I'll move on to the next part of the meeting. Honestly, the most fun part of the meeting. Table topics. Please welcome Table Topics Master Tyler Chan.
All right. So, as you know, this week is Valentine's week. Hope if you guys are in a relationship, you guys remember because it's kind of ritual. So our questions for this week are revolving around relationships and Valentine's Day. So start it off with the first question. Where would you take your person of interest on a first date? Festus.